So this is a pretty challenging and difficult video for me to make because I'm kind of a weird person, you know? And if you know anything about me, the person behind the channel, you would know that I don't like to give myself like credit or think about things that I've accomplished or, compare where I've been to where I am to where I'm going to go. Because I'm always of the mindset where it's like, if you have to, pat your own back, it's like, what have you really accomplished? Like, what have you really done? It should be others, the world, other people within the world should be the ones to give you those kudos and those credit. But a couple pictures popped up on my Facebook timeline, and it was kind of a very surreal thing to see because it's been 7 years. It's been 7 years since I decided to take the plunge, leave where I'd lived at for 20 plus years, and attempt to be a full time YouTuber. So I thought maybe this would be kind of fun to reminisce a little bit. And maybe it'll be somewhat inspirational for people, for people who are maybe thinking of taking a risk, whether it be hopefully a calculated risk, as I will explain in this video. But maybe people who are kind of on the edge of wanting to take a risk and they need a little bit, of motivation, maybe this can act as it. So here's the first picture we're going to look at. This was 7 years ago. It was a chilly February morning in North Carolina. I had this budget truck filled up, cigarette in mouth, the a quintessential face of health. And this was the morning that I was leaving the town that I lived in for 20 plus years. And I had decided to become a YouTuber full time. And a lot of people told me it was a bad idea. I remember I was around, I wasn't quite at 80,000 subscribers, but I was around 80,000 subscribers. And so many people reached out to me and were like, you have to have at least 100,000 to go full time. This is a bad decision, blah, blah, blah. And, I guess for some people, maybe that's a thing, but I was rather calculated in my decision because although this picture takes place in February, I had made the decision back in October of 2017 that I was going to do this full time. So I had started saving up money, selling a few things, this, that, and the other, because when I made this move to a town and a state that I had never been in, to a place that I had never seen before, I literally found the place on Craigslist, and we'll take a look at the place as well with a video that we're going to take a look at with Fat John. I was calculated to the point of where I had enough money that if I just went completely on my ass with this, it was going to be all right. I was going to be all right for a few months. I could always head back to North Carolina, go back to my old town. And at least I tried. So I remember this morning like it was yesterday. I had flown my dad in to help me with the move. And I had packed the moving truck up with all my stuff with some of my old coworkers. And I had the genius idea of wrapping my bookshelves instead of taking the games off, under the impression that it was going to be fine, that was going to work, and all the games are going to stay. And that isn't exactly what happened. So here is the same day, roughly 7 or 8 hours later, at the new place. Now, like I said, I found this place on Craigslist. I rented it sight unseen because I wanted to get out of where I was, because I felt like my motivation wouldn't be as high if I was still in my same old town. What's my driving factor for relying on myself? What's my driving factor for, keeping myself focused? Obviously there would be lots of distractions with friends and, bars and stuff like that. Now, granted, a lot of my friends, were either dead or in jail or married, the Holy Trinity. And, so I probably could have made it work, but I wanted to leave. I wanted just a fresh start in a place that I had never been, so that way I could focus. And this was not, a castle. If anything, it was very small. I believe the official square footage is 450 square feet. And you probably, depending on how long you've been here, you'll probably remember that place. But I have, like I said, I have a video and we'll show that place. We'll show the place off. But I remember unloading the truck with my dad, and he was so pissed off because it's dark out. It's nighttime. It's pretty cold, and all the bookshelves are just destroyed. And so there's games flying all over the place. He's sitting there yelling at me, cussing. And it was funny because he literally just helped me unload that truck. He went to a hotel and he flew out the next morning. So it was just me. It was just me in this weird town. We had put my car on a car carrier. So I had my car with me. I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything about where I was, but I felt like, it was a good idea. And then here's a little video of the place. So you'll get some, first off, the Krusty the Clown hair. I might need to bring that back. But this was essentially the downstairs of the place, where I worked and kind of lived. You could see here the old hold on, the old car. Where was it? We had actually, there's my dad. We had actually gotten a flat tire on the dolly. So once again, he is very pissed. Budget isn't going to be able to send someone out to look at it, but we ended up just throwing air in it, and it actually was fine, and it actually took, and it was good. So here's where John came over, because John ended up living pretty close by. Let's see. Okay, so I do have a little, I have a full tour here. So this was where you would walk in. It was the living room / kitchen. This is the living room. The kitchen is over here. This is John and I taking down everything, trying to make it work. And then here's a little tour of the 450 square foot Casa de RGT at the time. I like this place though. I it wasn't the best place in the world or anything. Why is the video frozen? Okay, there we go. So this is where you would walk in. Literally the door was right behind me. There was just piles of games. I had my futon over there. I had a little chair. This is where I shot all my videos, with this spiral staircase. You would go up the spiral staircase. Here was the bedroom, and the one bathroom was through that door. And that was the place. All 450 square feet. But you know what? I made it work. And like I said, the whole point was to try to, do something that I actually enjoyed, do something that I was actually passionate about as a full-time thing. And it was something that, I calculated. But there was a risk, man. There was a pretty big risk. And to look at that situation there, 7 years ago, to how everything is now, it's pretty crazy, man. It's pretty crazy to think about. It's pretty crazy to kind of reflect on. And I guess to some degree I did accomplish something. But really the accomplishments are just as much yours as they are mine, because without people watching, without people caring about my thoughts, my opinions on things, like I would probably still be in North Carolina, miserable, because I wasn't really happy there, man. Probably miserable, probably in worse health, because I'd probably still be smoking cigarettes, and who knows. But yeah, a lot can change in a little bit of time. And I know 7 years kind of seems like a long time, but you got to start somewhere. And my life now is a million times better than it was back then. So yeah, like I said, this is a tough video for me to make. I don't like giving myself credit for things. I don't like doing these sorts of things. But, maybe this could serve as motivation. Maybe this can serve as, kind of a tool to, make people realize, hey, you can always, no matter how bad things are or whatever, like you can always make a change. And maybe it'll be a success, maybe it won't. But do you really want to sit there and wonder what if, or would you rather do something, it not work out, and then at least you have that peace of mind? And I think it depends on the person, but I don't know. Maybe that'll resonate with someone. I'm going to shut up, though. I don't know. This just popped up. Like I said, it popped up on my Facebook, and it's kind of crazy to think about. 7 years. A lot has changed, and thankfully, most of it's been for the better. Minus the whole almost dying thing. But we came out good on the other side of that. I hope you enjoyed this little trip through memory lane for me. It's therapeutic for me to do things like this, I'm sure. Yeah, I don't really know how to end this video. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Later.